equation. Okay? First of all, when do we use a quadratic equation?
When you can't solve it, like without.
When it doesn't equal 0?
When you can't solve it, no, it's gonna equal 0 still. When you can't solve it, what do you mean when you can't?
Like when you can't solve it using whole numbers.
When you can't factor. Okay, when you can't factor it down. Alright? Okay, so if you can't factor it down, we have to use a quadratic equation. Alright, now, first of all, before we get to the quadratic equation, every quadratic equation in standard form should look like this. Okay, this is in standard form. Y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, that's in standard form. Now, they may switch the order around, but your a value is always in front of your x squared term. Your b value is always in front of your x term. Your c value is always your constant, hence where c comes from. It's always your constant. It's your number with no variable. Alright? Now, if there's no value of x in here, then your b value is what?
C.
0. If there's no constant, your c value is 0, but you still got to account for them. Okay? You just can't forget about it because it's not there. Okay? So if you would have, for example, y equals 3x squared plus 6. Alright? Your a value is 3. Your b value is 0. And your c value is 6. Alright? Likewise, if you have this, and I could give this to you on a quiz, and half of you would miss a quadratic equation because of this reason. Y equals 3x minus 10 plus 4x squared. Jump at you, and I would say probably 50% of you guys would say the a value is 3. No, it's not 3. That messes everything up. Okay, just because you switch the order around doesn't mean this switch around. Your a value is always in front of your x squared. So your a value is 4. My b value is
3.
And my c value is a negative 10. It's so important. The order doesn't get you. Don't get in such a hurry that you just put down the first numbers that you see. Correct? Ms. Kennedy? Correct. Great. Alright, so make sure that we get the order doesn't screw us up. Alright? Because if the order gets you, your problem is going to be completely wrong. Alright, so that leads me to the quadratic equation. Okay? Quadratic equation is negative b plus or minus the radical of b squared minus 4 times a times c, all divided by 2a.
We have songs.
Okay, yeah, you have that song.
Equals
Yep.
opposite.
Yep.
Y squared.
I will not teach you a song.
Oh, you
Alright, so if you know it, fantastic, you can use it in your own time, but I'm not going to teach you songs.
Mr. Barclay is like a.
I know, Mr. Barkley, I know Mrs. Barger does it all the time, but I can't do it, so I'm not, well, I can do it, I
Be
just
like Mr.
refuse to do
Barkley.
it, so therefore I'm not going to do it. Alright, so here we go. Okay, we're going to take, I'm going to erase it because I don't want to do this problem here anyway. Okay, we'll get rid of this problem right away. This equation is what we're always going to use. Negative b plus or minus the radical of b squared minus 4 times a times c, all divided by 2a, okay? First example, let's look at a couple problems here. First example. Alright, let's look at this right here. We got x squared plus 3x plus 3. So I got x squared plus 3x plus 3 equals 0. Again, before you use a quadratic equation, your quadratic is always have to be set equal to what?
0.
0. Have to do that before you get your a, b, and c values. Okay? Before I do anything else, I always write down my a, b, and c values. So a equals 1. B equals
3.
C equals 3. Now, when you have your a, b, and c value, all you got to do is plug it into your equation. That's all we're doing is plugging it in. So, negative b gives me negative 3 plus or minus the radical of b squared, which would be 3 squared is 9 minus 4 times a, which is 1, times 3, which is c, all divided by 2a, which is 2. 2 times 1 is 2. Okay, so we plug our numbers into the equation. Now we can do our math from there. I got a -3 plus or minus the radical of, what's 9 minus 12?
Wait,
-3, right? Because I got 9, -4 times 1 is a -4, -4 times 3 is a -12, so 9 minus 12 is -3, all divided by 2. Alright, whenever you see a plus minus sign here, that tells you how many answers you're going to have.
2.
2 answers. Okay? So when I have 2 answers here, I look at this and say, okay, now, do I know the radical of a -3? No, it doesn't give me a value because you put that in your calculator. What does it give you?
Error.
Error, because why? You're dealing with a negative number. You're dealing with a complex number. So therefore, to reduce this, what do I have to do? I gotta put I, so I actually have -3 plus or minus I radical 3 all divided by 2. Alright, here's another thing we gotta be careful of. Okay, radical 3. Do I know the radical 3? No. I don't know, it's not a whole number, so therefore we're gonna leave it as a radical 3. I don't want you to give me the long decimal number, which is I think like 1.727 something blah 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 forever and ever. Okay? We're not gonna write that and then add it to a -3 or subtract to a -3, then divide by 2 and give me another bigger decimal number. Okay, you're gonna leave it just like this. But you know that if you had to come up with the exact value, you have to take what? -3 plus this, divided by 2, give me a value. -3 minus this, divided by 2, give me a value, and you have 2 answers. But you get to leave it just like this. Okay, you get to leave it just like this.
But
That's your 2 answers.
okay.
Oh, what? Now you also know that this is in a complex region because you got a complex number here, so you technically couldn't give me the answer because technically you're dealing with complex numbers, and right? Okay. All right, let's look at another one. Let's look at square, which you would have won. Alright, here we go. Let's look at number 3. Okay, this is from your homework, number 3. Alright, we have 6x squared plus 6x squared plus x minus 15 equals 0. Okay? So my A value is 6. My B value is 1. My C value is -15. Okay? I come over there and say, okay, I gotta plug it into my quadratic equation, so I solve it. I got -b, so that's gonna be what? -1 plus or minus the radical of b squared would give me 1 minus 4 times a, which is times c, which is all divided by 12. Okay, so that gives me -1 plus or minus the radical of, what's 1 minus 4 times 6 times a -15? Calculator people, this should be easy for you.
361.
361, is that what everybody agrees? All divided by 12. Alright, do I know the radical of 361?
Yes. 19.
What is it?
19.
19. So I have a -1 plus or minus 19, all divided by 12. Now I've got whole numbers. Okay? I don't have any radical over here that I can't know the value of, so therefore I got whole numbers here, so therefore you need to give me 2 answers, Kai.
Never mind, I see it.
Okay? Alright, so you have to give me 2 answers here. First of all, -1 plus 19 is 18. So I have 18 over 12. Well, 18 over 12 gets reduced down to what? 2 over 3, is that right?
3 over 2.
3 over 2.
3 over 2, sorry.
It's reduced down to 3 halves. So that's my first answer, is 3 halves. My second answer then is -1 minus 19, which is actually -20 over 12. And that gets reduced down to what? -5 over 3. And that's my second answer. So those are your 2 answers. So if they give you whole numbers, you need to give me the 2 whole numbers. Okay? Okay? If they give you something that has a radical inside of it, I don't expect you to do it then. Okay? Alright? Now, so x equals 3/2, x equals a negative 5/3.
That's
so
supposed to be
hard
like
to
X
find.
equals.
Yeah, they're both x equals.
So,
Because you know that's what x equals here, right? You're finding, whenever you're finding solutions, what are you finding? Solutions, the zeros, x-intercepts. Getting your solve what x is.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, alright. Now, one more quick thing here. This has nothing to do with this problem, but I just want you to look at this really fast. How to reduce. If you did a problem like this, and you would get something like this. X equals, you got, let's just say, 6 plus or minus the radical 12, all divided by 8. Okay, let's just say you got this. Okay? Yes, we don't know the radical of 12. Okay? So that means we leave it in radical form. But am I done with my problem right here the way it looks right now? You just have to do what? You have to reduce my radical, right? So if I reduce my radical, this goes to what? The radical of 4 times the radical of 3, which would give me 6 plus or minus 2 radical 3 all divided by 8. Now, is that in lowest form?
No.
No, it's not, because I've got to reduce here, and I can reduce with that 2, so therefore, what can I take out of 6, 2, and 8?
2.
I can take a 2. So this would actually get reduced down to 3 plus or minus the radical 3 over 4. That would be your final answer. So just because you got a radical in your problem does not mean you can't or you don't have to reduce it down. It's still your job to reduce it to the lowest, simplest form. Okay? But if you have a radical in your problem, I don't expect you to give me long decimal numbers, but I expect you to write it like this in simplest form. This would be your only answer I accept on a quiz or a test. Okay, anything else will be points taken off if you haven't reduced. Okay? Alright, does that make sense? Okay. Let's do one more of those. Alright, let's look at this one. Nine x squared minus 9x, 9x squared minus 9x minus 10 equals 0. Alright, first of all, if I just say solve this, how do you know you have to use a quadratic equation? Because why? When do you use a quadratic equation? When you can't what? When you can't factor it down. So the first thing you gotta do is you gotta try to factor it. That's the best way to do it if you can. So I look at this and say, okay, I got a factor here, let's just see if it works. X squared minus 9x minus 90. I would do my parentheses. X and x. My last term is negative, so I got plus and minus. What are the factors of 90? I've got 1 and 90, I got 3 and 30, I got 2 and 45, I got 9 and 10. Alright, so what factors when I subtract would give me 9?
Neither.
None of them. Because 90 minus 1 is 89, 30 minus 3 is 27, 45 minus 2 is 43, and 10 minus 9 is 1. We got a 9 there. Ah, great. Okay, factoring doesn't work. So therefore, now we got to use what? Quadratic equation. So I erased my work that I just did. Yes.
Got 6 and 15.
6 and 15.
But it's, yeah, 6 and 15 is factor.
Oh my god.
Okay, well if you got 6 and 15 it would still work though.
The sign
Okay.
is, that's the only thing.
Right, so 6 and 15 would work, and 6 minus 15 is, so that, I mean technically here, so we have x squared minus 9x.
What? Wow.
Alright, if you have 6 and 15, which I didn't count for those factors, okay? You got x and x. Okay, you got, it's not really funny, it's not that big of a deal. 15 and 6, alright? So then that works. So if you found a problem like this, would you have to use quadratic equation? No, because you can factor it. Majority of the ones you have in your worksheet though, or when you use a quadratic equation,